I remember I went to, it was the one of the last churches that I've been through in Buffalo before my final awakening, where I am right now. And I remember the head of that church. Me and him would talk a lot. We would have like side conversations, and we would talk about a lot of issues. And I remember that he was telling me how, you know, there was, I think it was a friend of his, a black male friend of his, that his daughter married a white man. And I remember him saying, he was like, well, I kind of keep it to myself, but I don't want that for my daughter. He was like, he said, that there's some things that I can't get over. He was like, with the racism that we deal with these people, that is still going on today. And even some of the things in the past, he was like, I cannot get over it. And I said, I totally understand how you feel, because there's no way in hell that I could ever allow this in my life. There was no way in hell that I could ever sit there and grant my blessing to this. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I think that every, how can I put it, like a group of people that guard the mating practices of their women are successful. Groups that don't, you are unsuccessful. And that includes even amongst the men of your own race. There is a passage of the Bible that says that uh, well, I'm having a brain fart. Like, you have to choose the husbands of your daughters. I have to find that, right? You have to be the one that chooses, and women in general, I would say that they are poor mate selectors. A lot of black women have shown that they will choose, Thuggo and Galactavius most of the time. You know what I'm saying? And if that doesn't work out, like the one brother that he made that masterful comment, is that they will go out here and choose a Brad, and any Brad will do, right? But allowing one of them to date your daughter is the ultimate sign that you are a conquered black man. This is who you are. This is who you are. You are conquered. You are telling the world that in spite of all we have achieved, and in spite of all that we have accomplished, they've taken this from us. They've taken that from us. And now they're going to take the fruit of your body, which is your child. And that is unacceptable. That's totally unacceptable. And if you are one of those Martin Luther King Negroes, then I have nothing to do with that. I don't believe in Martin Luther King's dream. Now, I had a brief conversation. Somebody was like, well, I mean, it was basically an idiotic conversation. I talked about it before. It was some young Negro that got into this thing about me being a passport bro. I said, what does that have to do with anything? Well, you can do this. I said, dude, you don't know me. We just ran into each other right now. You're making a whole bunch of assumptions about me. Right? You are making a whole bunch of assumptions about me. And I said, what is my government name? Where do I live? What's my phone number? He couldn't answer. I said, so you are just making stuff up, right? If I don't want a white man with my daughter, and if I'm standing firm on that, I'm standing firm on that. And I feel that all black men need to stand firm on that. If you allow that in your family, you have shown the world that you are weak and you are defeated. And if you didn't have the talk with her, and if she still continues to go that route, then what you should do is you should cut her off. Yes. You should cut her out of your life, because she's showing you the ultimate sign of disrespect. When I look at Venus and Serena Williams, this is exactly what that means to me. It is the ultimate sign of disrespect. It is a black man that made them what they are today. And then they turn around and they marry white males. And all of the horror stories of these swirling not all, but most of them, the woman is going to find out that he is a racist, or she's going to find out that he just is not like her people, because he's not. There's been so many of these videos like this. These women, when it comes to an end, his family members would say racist jokes in front of me, and he would not defend me. Remember that Dr. Laura Schlesinger radio interview? That's why she got fired, because the black woman called in and she said, my white husband does not defend me when his friends and family come over and they're making racist jokes and stuff like that. And Dr. Laura Schlesinger said, what do you want me to do? Like, she didn't have any sympathy for her. And why should she? You chose a white man, right? They don't want to hear us being upset when one of our own dies and it makes national news. They don't care. A lot of them do not have empathy like that. Why would you subject yourself to this? The video of the black woman that was married to this white man, I think he was in the armed forces, and he ran up on her and shot her 5 times, and the gun jammed, and then he fixed the jam and shot her more times, and then I think he beat her with the gun. They ignore all of these things. They ignore all of the obvious problems. The making of the biracial children who are going to grow up with identity crises. Am I black? Am I white? Who do I sit with in the lunchroom? These are problems. These are problems that you don't have to subject yourself to if you would stay with your own people. This is exactly what it is. So I could not allow this in my house. I could not allow a white man, hey, this is my boyfriend. Is this a joke? No, I don't allow this in my house. You have to get rid of this. This is not acceptable. It's not. And too many black men are too afraid to speak like me, because you want acceptance from these people. You are afraid to be called a racist. Racism means that you think that you're superior to other people. There's nothing that I said that it would indicate superiority. I don't want these problems in my life. I would never accept this. And I've talked about this before, and people have gotten, oh, I don't care what people like. I don't care what people like. And I think the white man is absolutely correct when he feels the same way. It causes too many problems. And the masses of people are programmed to believe what what the man behind the curtain says that everybody should believe. Everybody, the man behind the curtain says that LGBT is right when the Bible says that it is wrong. Can't buck off of that either. Cannot buck off of that either. No, I will not. Right? Right? If you want to choose that lifestyle, this is another thing. I cannot have you in my life as my child. I can't do it. I cannot do this because I don't believe in this. If you believe in this, you are free to go live your life away from me. There is no way in hell that I would have my son talking about, I'm going to be dressing as a woman and my name is, Crystal. That is, you cannot be in my life. I do not tolerate this nonsense. I don't want to accept it. And ironically, I have somebody in my life that was born a female, and she woke up a couple of years ago and she is now a male. And I never cut her off. I never said anything about her. She decided to cut off just about everybody in her family because I believe that this is a side effect of these mental issues when these people cut off their breasts and put some kind of prosthetic penis down there. I have not seen this person ever since the transformation because this person woke up one day and cut me off and cut everybody off, right? So, but this is mental illness. It is mental illness to me, for a person to accept, for a black man to accept his child marrying a white man with all it's impossible for me to choose. It's impossible for me to allow this in my life. I won't do it. I won't do it because what it shows me on so many levels is that she doesn't love black men. She doesn't love me enough to marry a man that looks like me. She does not love me. She doesn't love black men. She doesn't love her people enough to want to heal her people. She was created, to serve black men. Women were created to be a helpmeet. So the black woman was created to be a helpmeet to the black man. That's the truth. This is my truth. And if you don't want to serve a black man, then you don't want to serve me as my daughter, then it's time for us to unfriend each other for good. That's the way I see it. I don't care what anybody thinks, by the way. I really don't. I really don't. I've had these conversations with people. I've had these conversations with people on the job, and I remember this one woman was crying because we were kind of close on the job and whatnot, and she brought up a situation of her. I think it was her son came out that he was, he wanted to play for the other team, and she said, "Well, what do you think about that?" I said, well, I think that the Bible says that that is wrong. And I think that I would tell him that this is what the Bible says. And if he doesn't want to change, then I would tell him that he cannot be in my life. I will not tolerate this. I'm not going to be fake with this. I'm not going to be embracing this guy and saying, oh, he's my son, or no, absolutely not. And she started crying. Wow, I've never heard anybody talk like this before. I said, well, perhaps we should never talk again because you asked me my opinion and I told you my opinion and now you're upset. So you want to walk away from this conversation? And she did. We still talk to each other, but I mean, there are those of I've come through this point in my life where it took me a long time to figure this out. People come, people go. And if you're here, great. If you're gone, great. I'm always going to meet new people. I'm always going to have new experiences. And that's about it. I'm going to live by my principles, and you live by yours. There's no way in hell that a white man, you should be allowing a white man to marry your black daughter. This is you being defeated. This is racist white America has won. They have won when this happens. So that's about it. If you love your children, you protect your children even when they get older, and you would have been had this conversation. That is never going to happen. And if it does happen, we have to say goodbye to each other forever. That's just the way it is, man. I raised you, I guarded you, I kept you safe from all sorts of harm, and then you turn around and you're going to bring a man from a whole nother race in my house and say, this is my man? No. You got to go. And the media is pushing this on us relentlessly, and I think that we have to take a stand against this.